Hi, this is John Kim, and now I'm going to walk you through my approach for the project, in which I design, configure, and implemented the automated workflow for a Pear Suite application. And what you're looking at is the Pear Suite interview screen, and the workflows that I created are a set of interview questions designed to collect data in order to find out whether the person I'm interviewing is eligible for certain social benefits, either is the housing assistance, financial assistance, and so on. And the workflow is intended to be dynamic in a way that adapts to the answers during the interview. And it has an embedded logic that triggers the following questions or certain actions. For example, scheduling a follow-up appointment for digital information gets triggered if in the process of interview, the system notices that some of the critical data element is missing, then it's going to advise you to schedule a follow-up appointment in the end. So all these variety of actions are triggered based on how the interviewee answers the question. And just quickly to demonstrate, what you're seeing here on the screen is the user, which is normally the community health worker view. And I'm showing the interview question, one of the interview question for CalWork, which is a cash benefit assistance for someone with children with low income because the person cannot excuse me, work full time for reasons such as disability, inability to find a job, and so on. So um, I'm in the middle of the interview, and the screen is directing me to ask question about the person's employment status. And if I answer, excuse me. Okay, so employment status. So if I answer no to whether the person works less than 180 hours for the last 4 weeks, then the system bumps that data against the eligibility criteria, and now you're found ineligible. So let's back out. And if you say yes, the system directs you to the next question, which asks you about your income. So a couple things here. The income threshold can be pretty complex as it differs depending on how many children you have to support and which jurisdiction you live because of the cost of living differences. So um, the threshold will be different for someone with one kid versus someone with 5 kids, and also will be different if you live in Mountain View, California versus Alameda County. So to guide the users in determining that, I put this link for additional reference. So let me open that up. And then you're directed to the reference table that gives you what the threshold should be depending on the size of your family and the area that you live in. Okay, let me go back to the Pear Suite screen. And if you say, I don't know, which is cannot be determined with the information currently available, it's still gonna direct you to the next question, which asks you about the cash value of your liquid asset. If you answer, I don't know, then the system will direct you to whether you wish to schedule a follow-up call in order to find out the exact info and resume the process. So if I say yes to the follow-up call, and then here pops up the schedule activity window that enable you to schedule the call on the spot. So all these different functions were designed and configured by me and integrated into the single workflow for a seamless user experience. So now I'm going to go over each steps of the process that I followed in completion of this project. So the first step was to research the benefit criteria. So for this, I did refer to various sources such as the state agency website and the actual administrative rule books, which essentially lay out different conditions for determining eligibility. And I made note of critical factors that impact the eligibility decisions, such as residency requirement, immigration status, demographic information, income, asset, and so on. And these findings were documented in the artifact that I'm about to show you, in a Word document that pretty much like consolidates about dozen of eligibility criteria for dozen of social services the state of California offers. So once the research is complete, then I move on to the designing process. Basically, in this process, I create a flow diagram that shows all the interview questions and the logical relationships among these questions. So let me show you an example of that. So what I'm showing you is the flow diagram that I drafted on Lucidchart. I primarily use Lucidchart and Microsoft Visio. This tool has been very instrumental in establishing a solid, clean, logical flow before I start to move on to the actual software to begin the configuration. And once that logical process has been designed, I move on to the step 3, which is the actual configuration on the system. And that configuration is done through this tool called Flow Builder, which is the Pear Suite tool where you can actually build a process flow in the system. And the layout, as you see, is very similar to the popular diagramming tools such as Lucidchart. And each rectangle represents a question that collects a single data point that will be bumped up against eligibility criteria. And also the bottom of the rectangle is a list of possible answers to the question that drives the next step that is indicated by the connector that connects between different rectangles. And it goes all the way until you come to the determination of whether you're eligible or ineligible or not enough information to make the call. And another cool thing you can do here is that you can choose to put a hyperlink directing the user to other resources as I demonstrated previously. And also you can make certain answers to trigger certain system actions, such as if you answer don't know to your income and asset, then it excuse me, direct you to the follow-up question, whether you would like to schedule a follow-up action. And then here I link the yes answer, yes to the follow-up, to an activity that calls the scheduling function of the software upon answering yes to the question. So that's the configuration process in a nutshell. And once the configuration is done, I move on to testing. So the testing is done from a user perspective. As I demonstrated before, I actually go to the set of questions, open up the interview flow, and then I test different scenarios. I first run the happy path where you are found eligible. And then basically got this is working as it is intended. After meeting all the criteria, the system is basically saying that you could potentially be eligible for the benefit. In that process, I'm going to, the community health worker will proceed to make a referral to the corresponding state agency for the application process. So I test a lot of different scenarios, um, including happy path where the person is found eligible and unhappy path where person is found ineligible. And after all the scenario gets a pass, it's ready for the demo to the larger group for approval. So the final process is gaining a formal approval from the team, and it is gained when I set up a meeting with the entire implementation team. I run a demo and basically solicit feedback. Normally, there are some things I have to go back and adjust in order to further enhance the process. So it's basically an iterative process where I test um, meeting and then get a feedback to modify my build and another test until the approval is gained when there's no further item for improvements identified. And then the team reaches the consensus, the final approval is given. So once the finalization of the configuration and approval is gained, that is documented in the build tracker that shows you dozens of different programs that needs to be built into the system, and the column H shows different status of each system, each flow, and the ones that I have Section 8 and Bring Family Home is actually showing complete. So that's pretty much it for the demo and demo of the project product that I built, and also the general process, as well as the artifacts that were generated in process of completing the project. So hope you have enjoyed it, and please reach out to me if you have any further question. Thank you.